What's going on, people? It's your boy D Davis, aka Mr. 360, live and indirect with another Sports Talker Bull stuff. This is your WWE uh, Bash in Berlin review. Um, Pardon my hoarseness, but yeah. Overall, it was a good show. I think it was a B plus show. I think it was a solid B plus show. I would say that. Just off the rip, Cody and Kevin Owens was the first match, and I just gotta say I didn't pay too much attention to it. Just because I knew what it was going to be. Cody Rhodes was going to defend his title. He was going to win the match. Um, he and Kevin were going to do some things to each other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Cody won. I don't have anything big to any further enlightenment to give to the match. No further analysis because I'm not a Cody guy. I mean, I'm even less of a Kevin Owens guy. I mean, they're solid in the ring. Cody does things I don't think he should be doing. He just doesn't look. It just doesn't look good. But yeah, um, Cody over Kevin Owens. The next match, I think it was a tag team match. The Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus those girls who had the belt. Jade and uh, uh, Bianca. They won the match, won the belts back. They got the pose. Um, so let's get to the fun part of the card. Excuse me for not um, being too enthused or too enthralled with the first two matches of the card. Um, I I knew what it was going to be. I didn't know too much about the tag team match with the girls, but um, didn't know they were even going to have the match. So, but on to the fun part of the review. I mean, of the card. It was the strap match with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Um, Pretty solid bill. I mean, from the start of the year since the Rumble. I think they did a good job, establishing that feud. I would say that's been the feud of the year. Um, and what I know of wrestling, as far as WWE, uh, AEW, it's been the best feud of the year. Good promos. Um, and they did a lot of their promos with Punk being hurt for the majority of the year. Coming back in SummerSlam and Drew winning that match. So you got the second match at Berlin and uh, a strap match, Indian strap match, Indian strap match. Um, yeah, but I guess it's PC now, so no one's an Indian besides Kamala. But uh, I think it was a solid match. It was I think it was a very good match. wasn't wasn't I didn't like the finish. I mean, it did what it needed to do. Um, but I think it was too much going on in the middle of Punk touching the last turnbuckle to win the match. And in the strap match, you got to touch all four turnbuckles uh, uninterrupted. And if I remember correctly, Punk hit two two of his finishers, which should have stopped the the progress, or he should have had to touch all three and then four turnbuckles to win the match. But other than that, the crowd was into it. Punk won. He got his bracelet back with the dog and his wife's name on it. So it was a solid match. I would say it's a 3.5 stars. I give it 3.5 stars. Um, Next match, which I think, in my opinion, was the match of the night, which was Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest against my boy Dom and his young tenderoni, Liv Morgan. And it was just I I'm not a big fan of mixed gender matches, girls and boys matches, but they did it very well, and it was pro wrestling. I think this was a great demonstration of pro wrestling, where um, they had the crowd into it. The people hate Dominic. They just absolutely hate Dominic, and it's wonderful. Not a fan of Liv Morgan either. So that you have that great interplay with Dominic rescuing Liv when need be, and Liv rescuing Dominic when need be, and I think that was the match of the night in my opinion. Um, it gave the crowd, I think the crowd was very active. I mean, in those European shows or those foreign shows, like the crowds are always very active and loud and live just because they don't get um, WWE or pro wrestling that much. So, those are the fanatics of the fanatics because I hear those prices that they're charging for those European shows are uh, through the roof. So you really got to be a fan to pay those prices and be as loud and as roarious. That's probably not a word, but they were very loud for the whole show, but especially for this match, they were very into it, and that's what wrestling is supposed to be. It's supposed to get some crowd participation, you know. What would I give this as far as a star ranking? Technically, I think it was fine. I didn't see any botches or missteps. I'm gonna give it 4. Give it 4. Give it 4 stars. That's a solid match. Um, yeah, give it 4 stars. I was gonna give it 4.25, but nah, I give it 4 stars. And the main event for the card, which is or was Randy Orton challenging Gunther for the other world championship that is in WWE. I think Gunther is going to get get that belt over more than Cody's belt. And that's the Universal Championship, and I don't think Cody is a Universal Champion. I think that belt is and has been lagging since Cody won it at WrestleMania. So it's not the big boy championship it once was. It doesn't have the prestige that it once held with Cody at the reigns of a Universal Champion. So whoever gets that off of Cody, I think that'll bring that title back to prestige. And who was the Seth Rollins was the first world champion, and I don't think at the time Seth Rollins had the gravitas or the dang, what's a big word? It's a grandiose word. I don't think at the time Seth Rollins was a superstar to be the inaugural champion for that belt. he wasn't hot enough. Mm-mm. Pause. But he wasn't that dude at that time, and I think because he was the first champion, I think that that belt looked like an obvious number two or B championship. But I think Gunther um, is going to bring that belt back up to prominence. So let's talk about the match. In my opinion, Randy Orton dominated that match for far too long. It wasn't a good back and forth contest between two big boys. You know, Randy's a big guy, Gunther's a big guy. Um, for huge portions of the match, Randy Orton was kicking Gunther's ass, um, throwing him on the table and throwing him into the stairs and really working that arm. And I mean, Gunther did a great job selling. Gunther's work is people really need to watch that. The way he works, his selling, like he sold his arm throughout the match, and it made sense for what he did throughout the match. So, what he sold his right arm, I think it was his right arm, which is his chopping arm. So you didn't get a lot of chops. You got some chops, but it wasn't like a Gunther match. And when the tide of the match changed, that's when it kind of just happened out of nowhere where Gunther just kind of took control of the match. And I was sitting here watching. I'm thinking, ain't no way Randy Orton's going to pass out or tap out. He ain't no way Gunther's going to sleep him. But sure enough, Gunther, he slapped him, put him in the sleeper or whatever the choke out hold is, which I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to be more UFC or MMA based with the how they end a match with their submissions. Just grab the arm, and if they can't hold it up, I guess, and it drops to the mat, match is over. But that's a real fight. Whereas pro wrestling is not. So I feel there needs to be more of a work. Hush, kitty. There needs to be more of a work. With that. You remember back in the old days, 80s, 90s, they did 3 times. And then get the crowd, get the crowd, something like that. But I get it for safety concerns, but it's not real. So you can work it because you're working everything else. That's what upsets me about pro wrestling, because especially the way it's trying to go now, where everybody over the age of 5 knows that pro wrestling isn't real. It's a work. So why do you want to pretend at some points like it's not? I mean, you've displayed obvious evidence that it's bullshit. Like, you can't present material or content meant for children or teenagers or young adult fools who are idiots. You can't present non-serious stuff and then at the end of the night or 5-10 minutes later or a match or 3 later, oh yeah, this is supposed to be so serious and so real. You just had clown bullshit 20 minutes prior. So pick what lane you want to be in. Do you want to present it as a real, serious, simulated exhibition of working talent? Do you want to present it like that in a hard angles and good promos and adult themed, adult content, without the use of profanity, without the use of parading women around in skimpy clothing. You don't. Pro wrestling does not have to be Jerry Springer to be entertaining. Pro wrestling was the shit way before Jerry Springer uh, started finessing all of us on TV with degenerate bullshit. So yeah, that's my little rant about what I ranted about. Hush, Kitty. What I ranted about. But back to the match. Yeah, it was a solid match, but I think it made Gunther look weaker than you would want your defending champion to look. Even though it was Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, and all that, like there should have been way more back and forth. There should have been, if Orton's gonna dominate the match, at least give Gunther something. But he was getting his ass whooped for like what 10, 12, seemed like 20 minutes, and then Gunther took over at the end. Kind of, it wasn't a lot of build up for it. It wasn't a lot of back and forth. I don't think Gunther got a good chance, a good just offense going to get the crowd pumped. I mean, he was the face in Berlin. He's usually a heel everywhere else or in the States. So for the main event, I two and a half stars. And I'm a big fan of Gunther, big fan of Randy Orton, and I realized what they want to do. They wanted to make Gunther seem vulnerable, and they wanted him to rise up and to beat the Legend Killer, who was whipping it, just beat the dog shit out of him. But I think they gave Randy too much. Gave him way too much, and it made Gunther look weak. But I mean, all in all, I think it was a B. What I say, B plus show. Crowd was into it. WWE got to keep running those international shows, because those international crowds make everything, or make their show or their presentation really look like the shiz naive. But yeah, I know I said I was gonna be doing these Raw and SmackDown reviews, but that ain't gonna happen, cause no. I can't put myself through that. I was gonna do a AEW, their all in, all out show, whatever it was, their international show, but I didn't see it because I had a fantasy draft going at the same time. So I'd rather get drunk and do a fantasy draft with my friends than AEW. So a lot of stuff. I'd rather just get drunk and hang with my homies. So yeah. So there will be no Raws or no SmackDowns unless I'm watching and the shit is fire. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe when they get to Netflix. I don't have Netflix, so we'll see what comes out of that. But this has been your WWE Bash in Berlin review with sports talk, bull stuff. This was a lot of bull stuff. Actually, not a lot of bull stuff at all. This was what I'm here for. What I'm here to do. This was a wrestling show, wrestling heavy. But yeah, Mr. 360 in the building. D Davis. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Please give me your comments. Tell me your thoughts. Don't tell me your suggestions, because I'm just going to do what I'm going to do regardless. So, but tell me your comments, I'm here for it. I'll be back when I'm back. All right. Peace.